Welcome to DO Nalagonda YouTube channel. Hi children, before going to our lesson, I will do two activities. Children, you observe carefully those activities. After that, I will ask some questions. Okay children, now you watch these activities. Walking activity 1. Watch it carefully children. Next, watch the activity 2. Walking activity 2. Children, can you watch these two activities? Okay, are you ready to answer the questions? Okay, children, which activity is good to see? Yes, walking activity 1 is good to see. Children, in walking activity 2, what lacked? Think, try to answer it. Yes, children, you are right. In walking activity 2, the balance and coordination is lacked. Children, now we are going to learn 10th biology, 5th lesson, that is coordination, the linking system. Children, from time of wake up to time of going to bed in a day, we do several activities like sharpening of a pencil, grasping a doorknob, walking or running, driving, and few physical functions all involves a well coordinated movements made with a well balanced postures. In fact, when we move, the three basic functions such as movement, balance, coordination work together to perform purposeful motions of the body parts. It is actually quite a feat because the moving is a complex process for the body. Even standing upright is a difficult challenge for balancing for just 2 feet with narrow base. Yet, it is common for us not only to stand upright easily and apparently effortlessly, but also while keeping our balance to perform many other functions. What other functions do you think needed in coordination and balance? All functions carried out by an effort of several systems work together. For example, while movement, we hardly ever use just the skeletal system or the muscular system alone. Several other systems also have their own roles and play. Even within the muscular system, different muscles work in a sequence or at once. For example, children, what triggers movements of the muscles? All our body organs, tissues, and cells work together systematically. All of them pick up signals of changes from surroundings and respond to them. The process triggers different functions in our body as well as by our body. For example, it is natural to move aside of the road when we hear or see a car approaching. How we do respond so fast according to situation? What help us to respond such signals? Why does the living body respond to such signals? We can think of a response as an effect of change in the environment from the organism, or signals of change or stimuli. All living organisms respond to stimuli. The cat may be running because it saw a mouse. Plants grow towards the sunlight. We start sweating when it is hot and humid. The ability to react to a particular stimulus in a particular situation must be of great importance in ensuring the survival of the organisms. There is a sequence of events that brings about responses. They start from detecting the signals of change in the environment, both external or internal, or stimuli, transmission of information, processing the same, and finally the response will detect and execute appropriate action. Steps involved from stimulus to response, there are 4 steps. One is detection of stimulus, second transmission of, third one is processing the information by CNS. CNS means central nervous system. Fourth one is execution of response. Children, you remember these 4 steps, very important. Total lesson based on these 4 steps only. From stimulus to response, we will learn in detail about these 4 steps. Now let us do an activity holding a falling stick or scale activity. See the children, carefully see the children this activity.
సందీప్ గణేష్ ఇద్దరు ఉన్నారు. సందీప్ ఏమో స్కేల్ పట్టుకున్నాడు, గణేష్ ఏమో విడిచిపెట్టే స్కేల్ పట్టుకోవడానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నాడు. ముందే తను పట్టుకోవాల్సిన స్థలం వద్ద గుర్తు పెట్టుకున్నాడు. అది స్థానం ఏ. ఈ స్థానం ఏ వద్ద అతను వేలు పట్టుకోవడానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉంచుకున్నాడు. ఇప్పుడు ఈ కృత్యాన్ని మనం చూద్దాం. సందీప్ కౌంట్ చేస్తూ వదిలిపెట్టినా. చూడండి, ఇక్కడ స్థానం ఏ ఎక్కడ ఉన్నది? కార్తికేయను స్థానం బి గుర్తించు.
This is site B. Site B or point B.
గణేష్, నువ్వు స్థానం ఏ వద్ద పట్టుకోగలిగావా? పట్టుకోలేకపోయావు. స్థానం ఏ వద్ద నుంచి స్థానం బి ఎంత పైన ఉన్నది? సుమారుగా చెప్పు.
How far from point B from point A? Nearly 10 to 12
సెంటీమీటర్లు. ఎందుకు మరి స్థానం బి అంత పై వైపున ఉన్నది అని నువ్వు భావిస్తున్నావు?
మనం ఉన్న స్థలం కంటే అతను వదిలిపెట్టినప్పుడు ఆ స్పీడ్ అనేది కిందికి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది.
Why did this happen?
ఉన్నందువలన దాన్ని పట్టుకోలేకపోతున్నాం.
ఎందుకు ఆ గ్యాప్ ఏర్పడ్డదో మనం ఇప్పుడు చెప్పుకుందాం.
Okay, children, see carefully this activity. In this activity, from stimulus to response, there are 4 steps. Here, detection of stimulus, eyes can detect the stimulus, and transmission of information through nerves, and response execution by arm. We are going to learn more details about from stimulus to response. Okay, okay, let's go to next page. The Greeks believed that all the functions of our body controlled by the brain. Since damage to that organ produced remarkable changes in the behavior, they had very little idea on how such control was exercised. Though Galen, the Greek physiologist, made one notable observation. Among his patients, one of his patients, having suffered a blow on the neck when falling his chariot, complained the loss of feeling in the arm, while still retaining normal muscular control of its movement. Galen concluded that there are two kinds of nerves, those of sensation and those of action. According to him, the blow in the neck had damaged the nerves of sensation but had not affected its function. Children, let us learn about four steps involved in from stimulus to response. First, we learn about the structure of nerve cells. Before going to learn structure of nerve cells, Galen identified and concluded that nerves are two types. The nerves from brain and spinal cord distributed throughout the body. The first step in from stimulus to response is detection of stimulus. Which parts of the body detects the stimulus? Before going to detectors, we learn the complete about structure of nerve cell. The nerve cell is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. Our nervous system have about more than 100 billions of neurons or nerve cells. Every nerve cell have a cell body with prominent nucleus. There are fine projections. There are two kinds, small and thread-like structures called dendrites, and long one, that is axon. It is surrounded by a sheath called myelin sheath. This myelin sheath interrupted at regular intervals. Those interrupted gap is called node of Ranvier. This myelin sheath made by Schwann cells, it having fatty materials. Children, you listen carefully and remember functions of nerve cell body parts. The cell body, also called as cytosol, the cell body analyzes the information and that information collected by dendrites from nearby neurons. This collected information analyzed by cell body. After analyzing the cell body, command given to axon. Axon transmits the information to another neuron or muscle cells. By understanding these activities, we understood the from stimulus to response. Children, the cell body present in brain, spinal cord, and nearby spinal cord, there are dorsal and ventral root regions called as ganglions. In these three places, the cell body present. Remaining body parts, the signals transmitted through axons only. Remaining body parts spread by axons only. Children, guess which parts act as detectors, which parts collected the information from surroundings or in the body. Yes, children, you are right. Sense organs are collect collects the information from the surroundings, so they act as detectors. Sense organs collects the information from stimulus and send to the nerve endings of the nerve cell or nerves. The collected information, nerve cell transmits the information to the nearby nerve cell or muscles through a connection known as synapse. Synapse is the functional region that transmits the information from one nerve cell to another nerve cells by this region. Synapse is not having protoplasmic connection. There is a gap between one nerve cell to another nerve cell, but the information transmitted from one nerve cell to another nerve cell through chemical path or electrical impulse or both. The transmission of information through nerve cell is known as nerve impulse. This functional region of synapse is present in brain, spinal cord, and surrounding of spinal cord only. In holding stick activity, you observe that there is a coordination between eye and finger. Different pathways are taken by nerves to bring about this coordinated activity. Based on these pathways, nerves are mainly divided into three different types. They are 1. Afferent nerves or sensory nerves. 2. Efferent nerves or motor nerves. 3rd one are association nerves. Afferent nerves. Afferent means ferrying towards. These nerves collects the messages from detectors and transmit to central nervous system. Central nervous system consists spinal cord and brain. They collect the information from sense organs. So these nerves also called as sense organs. Efferent nerves. Efferent means ferrying away. These nerves collects the messages or information from central nervous system, which brain or spinal cord, and transmits the information to the effectors. Third one are association nerves. Association nerves connects the or which have connection between afferent nerves and efferent nerves, or sensor nerves, motor nerves. Association nerves connects the sensor nerves with motor nerves. Children, observe the sensory nerve structure and motor nerve structure. This is the cell body in sensory nerve. These are the dendrites and these are the axon endings. This nerve cell collects the information from sense organs and sends to the central nerves. This is the motor neuron, which collects information from spinal cord or brain through dendrites, and it transmits to the effector organs through axon with nerve endings. Children, observe the different pathways of nerves. See this picture, different nerve pathways. Sense organs collects the information or stimulus and send it to nerve endings of sensor neurons. These sensory neurons or afferent neurons transmits the information to the central nervous. Those consist brain or spinal cord. This spinal cord or brain analyzes the information and give command uh, to the efferent nerves or motor nerves. These efferent motor nerves transmits the commands of central nervous system to the effector parts of body. Those are muscles of the organs. These muscles of the organs execute to the response regarding to stimuli. Which organs of our body sees the children? Association nerves connects uh, central nervous system and effector nervous system in between the sensory nerves and motor nerves. Children, answer the following question. Which organ of your body was the detector and which the effector in activity 1? Activity 1 means holding stick activity. In that, which body was the detector? Detector in activity 1 is eyes. And which the effector in activity 1? Effector is the arm or hand. What do you think that the information carried on the afferent and efferent nerves? According to these nerve pathways, afferent nerves collects the information from sense organs and transmits to central nervous system. Efferent nerves collects the commands from the central nervous system and transmits to the target organs or effector organs. Children, in the activity 1, that is holding a stick, showed a response on which you had some control or it was voluntary. Remember children, in 9th class you have learned voluntary muscles and involuntary muscles. We know that some of our body parts would also respond to certain situations on which we may not have control. Such responses are called reflexes. A simple activity shall help us to understand this better. That is knee-jerk reflex. See the children, this picture, what you observe in this picture, doctor did strike a below the knee with a stick. Cross the legs in a seated position so that the lower half of the uppermost leg hangs freely over the other. Strike the area below the kneecap sharply while firmly grasping the front part of the thigh with the other hand. Note the changes in shape of the thigh muscles. Note that although we are fully conscious, we can't prevent the thigh muscles from contracting. Such a response is called involuntary. Such a response is said to be involuntary. Now the same thigh muscles can operate in a voluntary manner as when we kick a football. The existence of knee jerk was first noticed in 1875. At first, it was doubted whether a nervous reflex was involved at all, but it is discovered that if in an anesthetized monkey where spinal nerve supplying the lymph were cut, the nerve jerk reaction would not occur. Clearly, it shows that clearly a nerve pathway was involved. Children, see the another activity to understand the reflex. Another reflex activity for reflex arc. Eyelashes activity for reflex arc. Children, carefully observe this activity.
మళ్ళీసారి చేయండి.
నువ్వు కోసం రేఖలు కాస్తావా?
కాస్త
పులికి భయపడతావా?
భయపడను.
See children, here the student voluntarily wants to didn't close his eyelashes, but when air blow on his eyes, he involuntarily closes his lashes. That indicates reflex arc is a involuntary action. By seeing this activity, you simply understood the reflex arc. Children, how much time taken to did this activity? Yes, it is very small time. Approximately 1,000th of a second time will taken to close the eyelashes. During actions which are involuntary and have to be carried out in short intervals of time, the pathways that nerves follow is a short one. It does not go to the brain, while voluntary pathways are usually longer, passes through the brain. Now let us see what pathways actually are. Mechanism in reflex arc. See children, this is the reflex arc. Not until the end of the 19th century, reflex was understood in terms of pathways. Pick up information of a stimulus to generate a response involves a pathway from detectors to brain or spinal cord, or set of cells heads near spinal cord to the effectors. Such a single pathway going up spinal cord from detectors and returning to effectors is a reflex arc. See the children how this reflex arc works. Accidentally, when you touch a sharp surface, that skin of foot act as detector. Children, here you remember there are 5 body parts involved the reflex arc. One is detector, second one is sensory nerve, third one is spinal cord, fourth one is motor nerve, and fifth one is effectors or thigh muscles. See how it works. When you accidentally touches a sharp surface, the skin of foot detects the stimulus about sharpness of that surface, and it gives information to nerve endings of the sensory nerve. That sensory nerve transmits this information to the spinal cord. Spinal cord processing this information or analyzing this information and give command to the motor nerve. That motor nerve transmits the command to the effector, that is thigh muscles. Immediately, according to that command, thigh muscles respond and take back the foot from that sharp surface. The total process occurred in a short time. How much time taken for this process means in 1,000th of a second takes whole this process. Children, once again we recall those 4 steps involved in from stimulus to response. See, first step is detection of stimulus. Foot skin detects the stimulus. Second one is transmission of information. Sensory nerve transmits the information to spinal cord. Third one is processing the information by CNS. Here CNS means central nervous system, that consists of spinal cord and brain. In reflex arcs, the involvement of brain is not there. The information processed by spinal cord only here. Fourth one is execution of response. Here execution of response done by thigh muscles. Command transmitted from spinal cord to execution effectors or thigh muscles through motor nerves. Okay children, can you understand steps involved in stimulus to response? First step is detection of stimulus. Second one is transmission of information. Third one is processing the information. Fourth one is execution of response. Children, the voluntary and involuntary actions of our body controlled by nervous system as a whole. We may study the nervous system on the basis of area from which originates and spread out to the whole body as main two divisions. One is the central nervous system and other is peripheral nervous system. See, the central nervous system consists brain and spinal cord. Children, first we learn how brain processes the information, what is the brain structure and their functions we learn in detail. See the children, this is the brain structure. You also draw this brain structure and label them without seeing. Children, now you see I show brain model to you. This is brain model. When compare the body weight, the human brain weighs largest to other animals. This brain present in a hard bony box like structure cranium. It is surrounded by three layers called meninges. This meninges continues to spinal cord, covers the spinal cord as well. In between inner layers of meninges, there is a fluid called cerebrospinal fluid. It serves as a shock absorbing medium and protects the brain from shocks and jerks. Against shocks and jerks with together meninges and cranium. This brain divides into three main parts. One is forebrain, second one is midbrain, third one is hindbrain. Forebrain consists of cerebrum, diencephalon and olfactory lobes. Midbrain consists occipital lobes. Hindbrain consists cerebellum and medulla oblongata. This medulla oblongata extends as a spinal cord. See the children, the surface of cerebrum have many folds. This elevation called gyri and depressions called sulci. The prominent depressions of sulci divides the cerebrum in four lobes. They are frontal lobe, parietal lobe and occipital lobe and temporal lobe. Children, now we learn about the functions. Before functions, learn functions of brain, we see the cerebrum divides into two semi-hemispheres. This is called as left cerebral hemisphere This is right cerebral hemisphere. Children, remember, it is a fact, surprising fact. Left cerebral hemisphere controls the right side body parts. Right cerebral hemisphere controls the left side body parts of our body. In this brain, more than 100 billion new nerve cells present. By seeing peripheral, it looks gray color because cell bodies present periphery of the brain. In center of the brain, there is white matter, white in color because myelinated axons present in the center of the brain. From center, there is a small gap. Through this gap, bundles of axons comes out. This nerves called as cranial nerves. Children, once again I show you brain parts and names. You see carefully. This is cerebrum and this is the corpus callosum, and this rhomboidal structure is the diencephalon, and this is the pons varoli. Below the diencephalon there is a small structure that is pituitary gland. It controls the endocrine system, so it is also called as master gland of endocrine system. And this is the cerebellum, and this is the medulla oblongata. This medulla oblongata elongates as a spinal cord. Children, let us learn about the functions of brain. See the children, let us study the functions of the various parts of the brain. Forebrain, olfactory lobes. These club-shaped, widely spread bodies are visible from the ventral surface only. Functions of olfactory, these are concerned with sense of smell. Cerebrum, it consists of two lobes called cerebral hemispheres. The surface of the cerebrum has many folds. They appear as elevations, gyri, and depressions, sulci. Sulci are very prominent and divide each hemisphere into four lobes. Ask your teacher the name of those lobes. Just now I told you these four lobes names. Once again I repeat their names. One is frontal lobe, two is parietal lobe, three is occipital lobes, four is temporal lobes. Functions of this cerebrum are seats of mental abilities, controls thinking, memory, reasoning, perception, emotions, and speech. Interprets sensation and respond to cold, heat, pain, and pressure. Diencephalon. This rhomboidal shaped lobe visible from inferior surface of brain. It lies between cerebrum and midbrain. It is divided into thalamus and hypothalamus. Master control center of endocrine system, whereas pituitary gland is called master gland. Functions of diencephalon: relay center for sensory impulses such as pain, temperature, and light. Reflex center for muscular activities. Center for certain emotions such as anger. Center for water balance, blood pressure, body temperature, sleep, and hunger. The hypothalamus controls the pituitary gland, which function as the master gland. Midbrain. This is a small, thick, stacked portion. This connects forebrain with cerebellum and pons varoli of hindbrain. Observe optic lobe of midbrain in the brain model in your laboratory. Functions of midbrain: it relays motor impulses from the cerebral cortex to the spinal cord and relays sensory impulses from the spinal cord to the thalamus. Reflexes for sight and hearing. Hindbrain. This is the last part of the brain consists of cerebellum, medulla oblongata. Cerebellum. It is located below the cerebrum and above medulla oblongata. It consists of two large cerebral hemispheres. Functions of this cerebellum is maintains posture, equilibrium, and muscle tone, coordinates voluntary movements initiated by cerebrum. Medulla oblongata. It is almost triangular shape. Medulla oblongata extends from pons to spinal cord. Ask your teacher. Gray and white matter of medulla oblongata. Children, here you listen and remember. Brain has the gray matter on periphery, white matter in the center. But in spinal cord, white matter is periphery and gray matter in the center. Because cell body is present in center, so spinal cord having gray matter in center, axons present in periphery, so it white matter present periphery in spinal cord. The functions of medulla oblongata contain center for cardiac, respiratory, and vasomotor activities. Vasomotor refers to action upon a blood vessels which alter its diameter. Coordinates reflexes like swallowing, coughing, sneezing, and vomiting. These are the functions of brain and their parts. Children, now learn about spinal cord. It also part of central nervous system. It also processes the information in reflex. Children, before going to learn or study spinal cord, the brain weight approximately 1400 grams. So the brain comprises little more than 2% the body's weight. It uses 20% of the whole body energy. An average adult male brain weighs 1375 grams and female 1275 grams. Children, let us study the spinal cord structure and function. See the children, from brain, the medulla oblongata elongates as spinal cord. Spinal cord. See the figure 11, spinal cord structure. From spinal cord there are thread-like structures. Those are called spinal nerves. Spinal cord extends from the back of the hindbrain, medulla oblongata, to the back of the stomach or lumbar region through the neural canal of the vertebral column. It is almost cylindrical in shape. Unlike the brain, the white matter is towards periphery, while gray matter is towards the center of the spinal cord. The myelinated axons leave the spinal cord from both sides of the vertebral column. The role of the spinal cord in nervous control was studied largely by the experimentalists of the 16th and 17th centuries. They found that the Greeks' concept of control by the brain was erroneous. Animals were shown to have the ability to respond to stimuli even when the brain was removed. Leonardo da Vinci. See children, he was the Leonardo da Vinci. He lived 1450 to 1519 AD. And Stephen Hales, he lived 1677 to 1771. Both recorded the survival of frog whose brain had been destroyed. The animal still produced muscular movements if its skin was pinched or pricked. Both observers further recorded that the animal died as soon as spinal cord was damaged by pushing a needle down it. Such evidence suggested that the spinal cord was not simply a trunk route for instructions from the brain, but might be a control center in its own right. Children, by observing Leonardo da Vinci and Stephen Hale's experiments, we know that spinal cord also act as control center. In reflex arcs, the control center is spinal cord only. In reflex center, there is no participation of brain in that. Children, now we are going to learn peripheral nervous system. Nervous system mainly divided into two divisions. One is central nervous system and two is peripheral nervous system. Just we learn about the central nervous system. Central nervous system consists brain and spinal cord. Just we learn completely about the brain and spinal cord. Now peripheral nervous system we are going to learn. Figure 13. This is figure 13 peripheral nervous system. Observe this figure, children. In the center there is a gray matter which consists the neuron cell bodies, and out peripherally there is white matter which consists the axons of the nerve cells. This is dorsal view and this is ventral view. From dorsal view, the projection called as dorsal root ganglion. From ventral view, the projection called as ventral root, also called as ventral ganglia. Figure 13 shows you that nerves attached to the spinal cord have two types of connections or roots, one to the back or dorsal side and other to front or the ventral side of cord. The experimental work of two men, Charles Bell in Scotland and Francis Magendie in France in the early 19th century showed that these roots have different functions. If the dorsal roots of an experimental animal were cut, the animal made no obvious reaction. If, however, the ventral roots were even lightly touched, the muscles to which the nerve was connected switched violently. The ventral root evidently controlled muscular activity. The dorsal root did not. In 1822, they suggested that dorsal root carried messages of sensation inwards, while the ventral pathways carried outwards the instruction for muscular contraction. See, children, in reflex arc, we see this structure also. In that, stimulus information from sense organs or detectors collects by the sensory nerves or afferent nerves. See here, that sensory nerve present in dorsal root only, which collects the information from detectors and transmits the information to the spinal cord. And after processing the information, the command received from spinal cord collects the command and transmits to effector through motor nerves. In this Magendie and Bell experiments, they did a cut for first dorsal nerve, but there is no response in muscles movements of in research animals, because the sensory nerve function is only collects the information from stimulus only. So there is no response in muscles. When they touches the motor nerve, the muscles respond violently. By these two men research, each nerve function as differently. So children, remember that dorsal root from arising from dorsal root nerve collects the information and acts as sensory function, and from arising ventral root nerve acts as motor nerve, and it supplies the information from spinal cord. In peripheral nervous system, there are two types of nerves. Those are one cranial nerves and second one is spinal nerves. Cranial nerves, which arises from the brain, so it is called as cranial nerves. Spinal nerves, which arises from the spinal cord, so they are called spinal nerves. In peripheral nervous system, there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Total peripheral nervous system consists 43 pairs of nerves, which comprise cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Children, the peripheral nervous system can either involuntarily control several functions in the regions like internal organs, blood vessels, smooth and cardiac muscles. The peripheral nervous system can also do voluntary activities also. Children, now we are going to learn autonomous nervous system. Autonomous nervous system. See the children, this picture. This side controls the sympathetic activity and this side controls the peripheral nervous system of parasympathetic. See the picture clearly, children. Eyes, salivary glands, lungs, heart, blood vessels, stomach, large and small intestine, urinary bladder, and sex organs. You also observe this dilated pupil in sympathetic side, inhibit salivation, relaxes bronchi, accelerates heartbeat, increase blood pressure, inhibit pancreas activity, decreases secretions of digestive juices, relaxes urinary bladder, inhibits sex structure. These organs connected with the nerves arises from the spinal cord and nearby ganglions, and parasympathetic organs are connected by the nerves arising from the brain and end of the spinal cord. See the children, by observing this picture, you try to give answer these questions. To which organs of the body do the nerves go from the ganglions near the vertebral column? From vertebral column, the nerves connected to the organs are eyes, salivary and lungs, heart, blood vessels, stomach, large and small intestine, urinary bladder, and sex organs. What are the organs that receives nerves starting from the brain? Same organs. Which are the organs whose activities are influenced by the parasympathetic system? All these organs influenced by the sympathetic system. Which are the organs whose activities are influenced by the sympathetic system? Same organs influenced by the sympathetic system. What do you understand about the functions of parasympathetic system? Parasympathetic system raises the metabolic activities of some organs. and inhibits the metabolic activities of some organs. For example, the pupil in the eye constricts the parasympathetic system. What do you understand about the functions of parasympathetic system? What do you understand about the functions of sympathetic system? By observing overall, sympathetic system raises the metabolic activities. Parasympathetic system inhibits the major organs' metabolic activities. In autonomous system, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves combinedly forms autonomous nervous system. These sympathetic and parasympathetic are a part of peripheral nervous systems. How autonomous nervous system works? By taking a simple example, we understood clearly about this autonomous nervous system. When we enter into a dark room, we can't see anything surrounding. After sometimes we see surrounding things because the pupil in the eye enlarges and lights enter into the eye, then we able to see the things in that room. When we came out from dark room to bright daylight, the pupil diameter decreases for less entering of light into the eye. This reduction and expansion of pupil controlled by this autonomous nervous system. We already know the breathing and heartbeat and involuntary functions controlled by medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata and autonomous nervous system combinedly controls the involuntary functions in our body. Children, in past 2 decades, research in past 2 decades brought out an interesting fact. Other than central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, there is a system of neurons present in the digestive tract that even function independently of either central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. It has been nicknamed as second brain, and the system is named as enteric nervous system, ENS. Several functions in our body are controlled by nerves, while many of them and others are controlled by other ways as well. You might have heard about the people having diabetes. Do you know the persons having diabetes taken tablets or insulin to control sugar levels in their blood? Let us learn about what is insulin, how we came to know about it. The story of insulin. In 1868, Paul Langerhans worked on the structure of pancreas. At the time, he observed patches of cells quite a different appearance with the normal from the normal tissue cells of the organ and richly supplied with blood vessels. They are known isolates of Langerhans. Isolate stands for islands. But he didn't know the function of isolates of Langerhans. Many other scientists or researchers worked on the pancreas. They also removed pancreas from research animals. At that time, they find the increase in sugar level in the blood of that research animal. Finally, they find there is a link between pancreas and sugar level in the blood. After that, researchers do tying up the pancreatic duct. This leads to pancreas degenerate in that animal, but isolates of Langerhans remain normal. In that animal, there is no increase in sugar. This gives clear-cut evidence for the linking between pancreas and sugar level in the blood. By 1912, workers convinced that isolates produces secretions and release directly into blood. Insulin in Latin means the word insulin in Latin means isolates. They coined the name insulin these secretions, even though they don't know actions of these secretions. Later 10 years in Toronto, Bonting, Best and McLeod finally succeed in the extraction of insulin from the degenerated pancreas animals. They injected these secretions into a dog that that mm, that have no pancreas. By the intravenous injection of these secretions, the dog alive with healthy and the sugar level decreases. Nowadays, the preparation of insulin is more. In 1905, the Starlin named as hormone for these secretions. This pancreas gland, also called as mixed gland, because it having the digestive glands and endocrine glands. So this pancreas also called as mixed gland. See the children, this picture, cockfight. What will you do if a dog is after you? What will be your first reaction? Have you ever observed any change in your body when you are afraid? Nobody wants to fight with a dog. The first thing we do is running away from the place. Try to note the body language of human animals when they are fighting scared. If we observe our body when we are afraid, the rate of heartbeat increases, the breath rate will be increased, blood pressure also increases, hairs on the body erected, we get goosebumps, pupil of eye dilation, and skin become very sensitive. These are all things due to release of adrenaline gland in our blood. There are number of endocrine glands which are not having ducts or tubes, so These glands are also called as ductless glands. In our body, there are two types of glands: ducted glands and ductless glands. For example, liver and pancreas having the ducts, so they called as ducted glands. Without tube or ducts, those glands secretes the hormones called as ductless glands or endocrine glands. We also called this adrenaline gland as fight or flight hormone because uh, when the releasing of adrenaline, the organisms may be fight or flight from that place. Children, there are number of endocrine glands in our body. Let us know about those endocrine glands. See the children, this is the table of endocrine glands. This picture we already learned in the 8th class, the place where endocrine glands present in our body. See the name of the endocrine gland, pituitary gland, which is present below the hypothalamus with floor of brain. It secreted somatotropin, thyrotropin, gonadotropin, adrenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and vasopressin hormone. Somatotropin hormone influences the growth of bones. Thyrotropin hormone activity act, activity of thyroid gland influence activity of thyroid gland. Gonadotropin hormone influence the activity of ovary and testis. Adrenocorticotropic hormone stimulates secretin from adrenal cortex. Luteinizing hormone in males, secretion of testosterone; in female, ovulation, development of corpus luteum, and secretion of progesterone. Follicle stimulating hormone influences in male spermatogenesis; in female, growth of Graafian follicles, estrogen, secretion, milk production, and secretin. Vasopressin regulates the absorption of water from kidney tubules. And thyroid, it present at the neck region. It releases or produces the thyroxine hormone. It influences are responsible of body to hormone, general growth rate, and metabolic activity. Ovary, present in lower abdomen. It releases the estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen influences growth of the uterus and skeleton of the pelvis, control of the 28 days menstrual cycle in females. Progesterone, development of uterus, implementation, development of mammary glands. Testes, location, scrotal sac, releases the testosterone hormone. It influences growth of hair on face, muscular development, depending of voice, deepening of voice, normal sexual behavior, and development of male sex organs. Adrenaline, location, attached to kidneys, releases adrenaline hormone, increase in heart beat rate, rise in blood sugar, dilation of the coronary artery, dilation of the pupil of the eye. Pancreas, location, near duodenum, releases insulin and glucagon hormone. Insulin uh, effects on decrease glucose percentage in blood. Glucagon increase glucose percentage in blood. These are all endocrine glands which secretes hormones and influence our different body metabolic activities. Children, the secretions of hormones and time and quantity decided by a special mechanism, that is feedback mechanism. Due to this feedback mechanism, the quantity and time of release of hormones taken place. Children, the secretions of pituitary gland hormones influences the other endocrine glands, so it is called as master gland of endocrine system. Control mechanisms in plants. Do plants respond to stimuli? So far, we have studied control mechanisms in our body. Do plants also have control mechanism? Let us find by doing a small activity. Touch the leaves of Mimosa pudica plant and observe the response. Are they folding? If so, in which direction? Mimosa pudica leaves have pad-like swelling at the base. They are called pulvini. Here, cells contain lot of water and large intercellular spaces. Due to water pressure, pulvini hold the leaf erect. Touch me not plant shows nastic movements by touch. There is called thigmonasty. When we touch the leaves, an electrical impulse is generated. This impulse acts on plant hormone. Because of this hormone, water in the pulvini cells, which are closer to the leaf vein, migrates to other side of the cells. Then pulvini loses its firmness, hence leaves become fold. After 20 to 30 minutes, water comes back, pulvini attains firmness, and leaves become erect. Plants do not have special nervous system and endocrine system. They have some controls with chemicals. The hormones in plants called phytohormones. Phyto means plants, which controls the growth of plants. So these hormones also called as growth substances. What hormones control? What are hormones control in plants? Now we learn about those hormones present in plants. These are the major hormones and their actions in plants. Auxins, cell elongation and differentiation of shoots and roots. Cytokinin hormone promotes cell division, promotion of sprouting of lateral buds, delaying the aging in leaves, opening of stomata. Gibberellin, germination of seeds and sprouting of buds, elongation of stems, stimulation of flowering, development of seedless fruits, breaking the dormancy in seeds and buds, abscisic acid, closing of stomata and seed dormancy, promoting aging of leaves, ethylene, ripening of fruits. These are the 5 hormones present in plants: auxin, cytokinins, gibberellins, abscisic amla, and ethylene, and their uses given in this table. Children, you learn this table. It is very important in concept of examination. Children, in plants we observe phototropism. For doing this, we take a glass jar filled with soil, show a seed near the wall of the jar. That helps to see how root and shoot growth takes place. After 4 to 5 days, seed germinating. Then keep it in sunlight and observe the growth of root and shoot. Then tilt the jar, place the plant horizontally. After put it 1 week in the sunlight. Then observe the which side the plant growth takes place? Is the plant horizontal? Observe here and note the observation. Where plant growth occurs towards the sunlight, this type of growth or this type of response known as this type of movement known as phototropism. Photo means light, tropism means movement. Observe the children this when light fall on the stem in the shaded parts, the accumulation of oxygen takes place, and this side growth is occur rapidly. Due to this growth, the stem is bending towards the light. Elongation of cells you observe here. In 1926, the Dutch plant physiologist F.W. Wendt succeeded in separating this influence. This influence observed by Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin. They called there is a influence coming from the top of the stem, also called coleoptile. In 1926, the Dutch plant physiologist F. W. Wendt succeeded in separating this influence from the plant that produced it. Wendt cut off coleoptile tips from oat seedlings. He placed the tips on a slice of agar and left them for about an hour. He then cut the agar into small blocks and placed a block on one side each stump of the decapitated plants. They were kept in the dark during the entire experiment. Within 1 hour, he observed a distinct bending away from the side on which the agar block was placed. Agar block that had not been in contact with coleoptile tip produced either no bending or only a slight bending towards the side on which the block had been placed. Wendt interpreted these experiments as showing that the coleoptile tips exerted its effect by means of chemical stimulus rather than a physical stimulus, such as an electrical impulse. This chemical stimulus came to be known as auxin. In this way, the first plant hormone, auxin, Greek word auxin means to increase, was discovered by Wendt. See children, plants show two types of movements. One is tropic movement, another is nastic movement. Mimosa pudica leaf shows the nastic movement, so that movement called as thigmonasty. Plants sense the stimulus like light, heat, pressure, water, gravity, chemical. Here we observe the tendrils. Tendrils shows the thigmotrophism. Every plant grows towards the light, but in the ginger or cucumber plants, the stem is very thin. To erect the plant, the tendrils helps to surroundings touches sticks and wind them, that gives erection to the plant. This type of trophism known as thigmotrophism. When we observe plants present at the rocks and walls, the roots grow to the one side where water present in the soil. They grow towards the water, so they shows heterotrophism. Like way, plant shows geotrophism and chemotrophism also. Children, improve your learning by do this answering following questions. Fill in the missing section in the following chart. Step on a sharp-edged object. Spinal cord analyzes the information and send the commands. Here, sensory nerves, and children, you write here motor nerves. In this box, you write effectors, that is thigh muscles. Okay, children, in this chapter we learn voluntary functions and involuntary functions and central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, steps in from stimulus to response, and functions of the brain and spinal cord, and types of nerves. Also, we learn nervous coordination and endocrine coordination in animals and chemical coordination in plants. Thank you, children.